This is the voice of the New York Football Giants, Bob Papa, and you are listening to the best throughout Europe, the Big Blue UK and Ireland podcast.
Welcome back, Giants fans, to the latest edition of the Big Blue UK and Ireland podcast. As always, we are proudly in association with Annie's Man Club. Lads, remember, it is okay to talk. And tonight we are 75% British, 25% Irish. And as always, we are still 100% Giants. It's the return of producer Craig from Florida and the return of Mayo from Egypt. Welcome back, gents. How we doing? Just in time for therapy session number 3. And we're only 3 weeks into the damn season. Joining myself and Kev as well as we look back at the game from Sunday night. The game where I woke up at 1:30 in the morning, then went to work straight after. Why the fucking hell did I do that for? Why did I do it? Oh, and there might be a little bit of news to come later. Wonder what that could be. We'll find out towards the end. Good to be back on, boys. How are we doing?
Yeah, good. Glad to be back on. I'm glad the two boys have made it home safe and they're with us again now for another podcast because I did not fancy talking about this game on my own. So I'm definitely glad the boys are back.
It's nice to be back after missing week 1, week 2, and week 3. It's nice to be back in cold England versus the.
You haven't missed much, mate. Don't worry.
Yeah, versus the 34 degrees that I was used to in Orlando. I'm going to sum this up with one little anecdote. If the week 1 after we lost to the Commanders, there was a point I was in Magic Kingdom of all places. I just got off the Tron ride there. I was walking down through, and we were just exiting the park, ready to go off to watch Sunday Night Football at a bar. And I walked past. There was a guy I was wearing my Eli T-shirt and a Giants hat, and I walked past. There was a guy with a Giants hat walked past me. We looked at each other, shrugged, shook our heads, laughed, and carried on walking. And I think that just sums up the Giants fan base to a T.
You're not wrong. You're really not wrong. Mayor, how you doing? Looking rather tan, mate.
Yeah. 34 was the minimum temperature in Egypt, so
it's not a competition.
And because of the 2-hour time difference, I got up at 3:30, watched the thing, went back to sleep. Mrs. then woke me up because it was time for breakfast. I had my breakfast, had a cocktail, and jumped in the sea, which is where I want some of the players on this team to go.
I mean, that's a better way of spending the time after the game than I had. I was at work all day and had to relive it all day.
Oh, no, I thought I was doing really well getting back from the Jelly Roll Post Malone concert. Like, I was in house at 11:30, had my feet up in the man cave, having a couple of beers, and it just got depressing. Like, I stayed up for the whole lot. I don't know how I did. And Monday wasn't very fun for me either.
I don't think it was a fun Monday for any of us. Although I'm sure it was probably more fun for Mayo at that point.
Anyway, 24 is hot enough, lads, all right? This 34 carry on. With me and my pasty skin here, I can't be doing much more than 24.
Yeah, it was, to be fair, I think it was about that here on Friday. So we had a little bit of a heat wave last week. So, good to have you boys back. It's going to be an interesting one this evening. So those that are tuned in live, get involved in the comments, as plenty of you are doing already. Send us your questions as well, and just let us know your opinions and your thoughts, because there's a little bit of news coming later that we're going to cover. And don't forget as well to like the episode, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. Feel free to leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice. How many stars, Mayo? 5 stars, that's right. Absolutely 5 stars. We appreciate the love as always. Like I said, there is big news to come later. We're going to cover it towards the end, but there are a few other bits to cover that have happened since Sunday night's game. The first one being the Giants have signed former Falcons kicker Young Kwei Koo to the practice squad. He's appeared in 91 games since 2017, converted 85% of his field goals since then with a long of 58 yards. He's coming off a poor year last year, though, however, where he recorded a 73.5% success rate, and he was cut by the Falcons after week 2 this year because of his poor start to the season as well. Obviously, this is it's in reaction to Graham Gano injuring his groin again in warm-ups again before the game on Sunday, and he somehow, don't know how, managed to limp out on the field and kick a 25-yard field goal, and he was doubled over in pain immediately afterwards. I think he must have said to the coaches, he's good, because for a chip shot at least. But why risk it? You're just looking to do yourself more harm by doing that. I thought it was a stupid move, in all honesty.
I know we don't normally jump in on news, but we're not going to cover special teams tonight, so I just want to kind of do something or sort of say something about this. I've seen lots of people with the discourse, and I can see them in the comments already about, Joe Shane should be sat for the kicker situation, and nuts that we're going through this kicker situation again. This is completely different from last season where he was injured before the game and we took the risk. I was listening to Giant Insider earlier, and Chris was saying that this was a genuine injury that happened on the sideline that just cannot be foreseen. It just so happens that we've gone through this bullshit so many times that we just immediately go, why do we not have a covering kicker for this reason? And obviously, there's nothing we could have done. He was perfectly healthy up until the point his groin just went during preseason warm-up. So I get that there's a lot of frustration behind this one, but I don't think this one is on Joe Shane and Brian Dable. I think this one is on an aging kicker who maybe is now past it.
I think maybe is a understatement there. I think he needs to hang up his cleats, and we look to bring in young Jude next season.
They are going to have a kicking competition. That was confirmed today that Koo and McTominay will go against each other. It is not Koo's job, off the bat.
I like that. It'll be interesting to see what the result of that is. But yeah, I think it's got to the point now where I think Gano just needs to go. He's 2 years in a row he's done his groin, and how long is he now potentially out for? He's not that Mr. Reliable that we had 2-3 years ago. He's proven to be injury prone, and I think we need to cut our losses and say goodbye to him. But
I think also you can bring in someone younger and cheaper, who would have similar stats to him now. He's not sort of as prolific as he once was a couple of years ago. So it's just not worth the risk now of things like this and paying out that much money. I mean, over 5+ mil a year for a kicker's on the higher side. And if he's not as consistent as he was, and he's also injury prone now, then it might be time to cut ties.
Yeah, definitely. James said trouble is, even if it was a freak injury, he wasn't even tested during the off season. He hit one field goal and barely practiced, and we didn't bring any competition in for him at all. It's a great point, James. It's a great point because he did virtually no kicking in the preseason at all. Keith, Eden, player's most important ability is availability. Facts. You're not wrong with that. Yeah, I mean, we'll talk more about the kicking situation and Gano and the what is evidently going to be a battle between Koo and McTominay, probably on Friday when we preview the Chargers game. Moving on with the news, the Giants also lost Xavier Gibson. The Giants claimed him off waivers on the 11th of September, but due to injuries, they waived him on Saturday and hoped he would clear. But like Corey Black, that wasn't the case. He was claimed yesterday by none other than the Eagles. Hey, of course he was. Because we can never have nice things. The Giants also waived Timon Fox yesterday, and again, I'm hoping he clears waiver so he can be signed back to the practice squad. All of this is due to the injury issues that we have at linebacker with Michael McFadden, Chris Board, Darius Musow, and Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles all being out. Mental. Then the Giants tried out 4 linebackers yesterday: Jonas Griffith, Ty Summers, Luke Masterson, and Jacoby Windman. So, I mean, to be fair, Swayze Bozeman, like, give him a shot. As mad as it is, he had the second highest PFF grade of all defenders on Sunday. There we go. Give it to Swayze Bozeman. And not just because his name is Swayze either. And lastly, for the second week in a row, your boy Aaron, Cam Scatterboo, has been nominated for Pepsi Rookie of the Week award. He now ranks 5th among all rookies in yards from scrimmage, and the 4 players above him were all drafted 3 rounds ahead of him. So it just goes to show what an absolute steal we got in Cam Scatterboo. And not just that, but look for that number to increase this weekend, because Tyrone Tracy dislocated his shoulder and it's going to be out between 2 to 4 weeks. So get on NFL.com/rookies to get your voting for Cam. Aaron, what were you going to say?
I think it might be worth a quid from Offensive Rookie of the Year at this point, just because of the hype around him, the media he's going to get. He's going to get steamed up by angry runs all year. Don't be surprised. And obviously, he's going to have the opportunity now to be a starting running back and pick up those numbers, maybe on a 31st rank offense. But don't be surprised him being an outside chance now for that award.
It's worth a punt. Why not?
I mean, Tommy DeVito got into an advert. Do you think, maybe Chef Boyardee or Chunky Campbell's Chunky Soup might get involved with a bit of Cam Scatterboo?
Campbell's Chunky Soup are getting it well involved with Cam Scatterboo, aren't they? You just have that feeling.
Join his teammate Dexter Lawrence as the Campbell's Chunky Soup spokesperson. Very quickly, Keith Falconer said, will we save anything on the cap if Gano goes during the season? Over the cap still seems to think that we'd save $3 million if we do. Sorry, hold on. No, let me just check that. I don't know how it works with over the cap, because obviously it goes sort of week by week now, and it's all prorated. They've still got it as a $4 million cap saving. I don't think it's as much as that. I wouldn't imagine, but
I would also imagine he's got some sort of injury guarantee in there. So even if you cut him now, you're going to pay him for the next 4 games plus at least anyway. So yeah, I mean, I think the opportunity was preseason, and we knew it was a big number. We talked about Geno, we talked about Bellinger, we talked about Flott. Obviously, Flott and Bellinger have earned their position. Geno, unfortunately, injury that would like the one that we should have bit the bullet on and saved the money and got someone in cheaper. But injuries cannot always be predicted. Injury prone. I don't believe in it. I think you get bad luck and good luck, and sometimes it goes that way. But 38-year-old kicker, high salary, not exactly the massive leg. It's not like he's kicking them from 67. That only happens against us. At least to win a game or tie a game. So yeah, it's that. Even with Jude, right? Jude would have been cheaper. Probably would have put up similar numbers. Probably was the way to go. I can see why they had another season of eligibility. They thought we can give him another year of seasoning, give him another year understudy under Gano, get him ready. But hey ho, it was the wrong decision. Don't always get them right. You don't bat 1,000, right?
No, you don't. Exactly. I know injuries aren't predictable, but I think this is probably one we could have predicted at some point in the season. But hey ho, young Heiku and G McTammany, nice little kicking battle. Should be interesting. Cool. All right then, let's get into Sunday's game. And Sunday brought us our first ever home loss against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow.
First time we've ever lost to the Kansas City Chiefs at home in New York, New Jersey, where we played.
It does feel like we haven't played them a lot recently, mainly because of the fact they're much better than us. So when the seedings come out for first versus whatever, but
yeah, I think last time we played was 2021 potentially, if I remember rightly from a preview. I can't remember. But yeah, it was always going to be. It was, especially obviously with the injury to Gano before the game. It is always going to be an uphill battle, I think. And yeah, the Chiefs ran out 22-9 winners. I mean, the score is not a particularly high scoring game on the face of it. We kept it close for long periods, but surprisingly, and the fact is, I think we said on Friday's preview, the Chiefs were there for the taking, and I really think they were there for the taking on Sunday. We just allowed them to win the game. We didn't do enough, and we just allowed them to win the game. And both sides of the ball, offense, defense, just really struggled on Sunday, and it's almost a case of where do we go from here. So, Kev, Mayo, offense, good luck. There's not really much you can say about it, is there? Apart from Cam.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll go through all aspects of the offense. I mean, we'll start with the quarterback play, Russell Wilson. His final stat line was 18 of 32 for 160 yards and 2 interceptions. We saw the Moon Bowl the week before. We went 0 for 4 on throws of 20-plus yards through 3 quarters. They struggled to read Kansas City's too high safeties shell that they used. They used it on 79% of dropbacks. It's the highest that they've ever used, that they used too high safeties this season. They allowed just 133 yards. They forced 12 pressures, 2 sacks. The first interception was a deep shot into triple coverage, targeting Wan'Dale Robinson. I mean, triple coverage. I mean, Wan'Dale, he's not exactly DK Metcalf going to go up and pluck the ball out of the air. The second interception was a very poorly underthrown ball to Malik Nabers in the end zone when the score was tied 6-6 at that point as well. In the fourth quarter, the intentional grinding, throwing it through the red zone, 2 throwaways on 3rd and 4th down, nowhere near a receiver. These type of things just don't show that a quarterback is comfortable in the offense or comfortable with the people around him. The crowd was chanting for Jaxson Dart in the second quarter. They booed when Wilson re-entered the game after Dart briefly played. I mean, you can see when you watch the game, the eye test, he didn't pass the eye test, and the statistics weren't there either. So you can kind of see coaches thinking on moving forward now. I mean, 3rd downs again. Why do we always see third down as like, it's just a bugbear of mine. The offensive inefficiency was at 1 of 10 on 3rd downs and 1 of 4 on 4th downs. The offense only totaled 281 yards. Brian Daboll said passing game was not good enough, particularly on 3rd down. I mean, really? Come on. I mean, stating the obvious much. Definitely the offense regressed to the week 1 form. Do you know what I mean? 6-point output against the Commanders. This output again. Just, you can see why a change is coming at that side of the ball. I mean, the running game. I mean, the only bright spot in the running game. Ran the offensive. We ran for 130 yards at 4.8 yards per carry. Cam Scatterboo, 10 carries for 60 yards. He scored on a 13-yard touchdown, 6 catches for 61 yards. He led the team in total yards. Just full of high energy, tough running. The crowd absolutely loved him. You can see why. He's the type of player that lunch pail mentality, that his fan base can get behind. And let's not disparage Tyrone Tracy Jr. either. He had a strong start. He had 7 carries, 29 yards, 2 catches for 7 yards. But unfortunately, he had a bad shoulder injury that ended his night. So, he'll be out now for several games, and he'll be sorely missed. But, I mean, Mayo, do you want to just give a wee shout out, a wee talk about how you're feeling about Cam Scatterboo on what was a dismal day for the offense as a whole?
Yeah, so I guess we're all down in the dumps about off-season decisions and this, that, and the other. But look at the draft class, right? We get to see Dart this week. We'll talk about Dart in the next podcast and in the preview for the game. In the preview for next game. But we've got Marcus Bowes come in and shown that he's the swing tackle already. with the potential to be a starting tackle in the future, and it seems like a bargain. Cam Scatterboo is everything that we saw on tape at Arizona State. Everything that he said there, they said, "Oh, that won't transfer to the NFL." We've seen it. We've seen it over the 3 games now with the broken tackles. The thing I liked the most was when he does his chip block and absolutely floors. Was it Carl Often? No, it was their backup, wasn't it? It was the forget which one, number 90, whatever. But absolutely floors him with a chip block. You don't want to be running into Cam Scatterboo, and and then the run, the touchdown, the fight for the end zone, there's clips of him on the sideline hyping up Russell Wilson, even. So everything that we hoped he's shown us already, and now unfortunately with Tracy's injury, he comes in to be the starter. Maybe we see Turbo elevated from the practice squad to be that third running back in depth, which obviously we all wanted him to make the 53 coming out of the season. And that sort of shows the value of if our starting running back was a £20 million a year, 15, 16 million pound a year running back, and he just goes down injured on a freak tackle, we'd be running with a backup. But if you have a committee, the opportunity now is for maybe this guy can shine with a bit more carries, and later in the season we get another back come back in fresh to kind of spell them. So I see the advantages of the committee, and that was some of the decisions that you got disparaged for about letting Barkley go. But maybe our backfield is now in a better position for us where we are in our cycle of, we're not in the Super Bowl window yet, and we get to have a angry run favorite. How many scepters is he going to pick up this year? Who's going to do it? Yeah. I need a rest now.
Yeah, love it. I mean, just touching the wide receivers and tight ends quickly as well. I mean, they absolutely tried to neutralize Malik Neighbors. I mean, they double covered him, triple covered him at some points. He was barely targeted. Darius Slayton had 4 catches for 30 yards, which led the wide receivers. Wendell Robinson only had 1 catch for 26 yards. It just looked that the offense lacked any real creativity, and our playmakers just weren't getting free. And I know that came down to a lot of blanket coverage. Basically they were doing everything to stop the deep ball. And the tight ends as well. I mean, they had minimal impact. Theo Johnson had 1 catch for 10 yards, or they looked good after yards after catch. Bellinger had a key block on Scatterboo's touchdown. I think both the tight ends were kind of used more in pass protection. But you can see that Bellinger it does do his job in running the ball. And then offensive line, Andrew Thomas. Okay, so he returned from his Liz Frank injury. He played 28 snaps with 0 pressures allowed on 12 pass block reps. And Marcus Bowe came in, the rookie tackle. He subbed in for Thomas late in the first half. He struggled a little bit against Power, and he was beat a couple of times. But he held up in the run game much better. He generated push. Protection wasn't a problem. He definitely looked like like he belongs there. Like you said, Aaron, he does look like someone who's a bit of a find and someone we need to mature and develop. And he looks like he's got all the tools you need to be a starter in this league. And just the last thing on the offensive line, I'd be remiss if I didn't shout out to Jermaine Luminor. I mean, through 3 games now, he's only allowed 3 pressures. And he's 5th in the NFL for pass block and efficiency for all offensive tackles. He has just come in and been better than we ever could imagine. Considering he was signed as a guard, he's come in and he's locked down that right tackle spot and looks like he is a right tackle in this league, no question. So just a couple of final things on the offense. Steve Spags, we talked about it last week, Dan, didn't we? You would love Spags' defense. But he didn't need his complex, aggressive scheme to shut down the Giants. He rushed 4 and pretty much dropped 7 into coverage. Like I said before, covering neighbors, double coverage, triple coverage, and stuff like that. So he didn't have to do that much to sort of stifle the play. I mean, Russell Wilson pretty much now, it was proven to be big play or check down. Big play or check down. That intermittent, in the middle of the field, just isn't on for him. I mean, the crowd there was a lot of red in that crowd as well, which is very frustrating to be a first home game seeing so much red in there. But like, the crowd had very little to cheer for apart from Cam. And from all the promise that was in week 2, I think Dallas again showed this week that was more about Dallas's defense than it was about our offense. So those are just a few of my takeaways from the offense this week. Aaron, do you want to sort of add any more to the offensive line or to Spagnuolo's defense or anything like that, mate?
Yeah, so I think just to cap it off on Russell Wilson. So what we kind of seen in the data was he's still a good downfield throwing quarterback, and we saw that against Dallas when we gave him a clean pocket, when we gave him time, he could shred the defense downfield. That wasn't no question. Being a short quarterback, he's always had the knock on his field that he doesn't throw down the middle of the field. We saw that in both week 1 and week 3. And we've and what we did see as well, as soon as he didn't have a clean pocket, he'd get out of dodge and bail, and he'd bring his eyes down. And we've seen that with a previous guy as well, that they don't stand in the pocket and throw and these kind of things. So I think absolutely, like, I'm happy that we've seen what Russell is, and I'm okay with moving on. I'd be okay if we moved on to Jameis. If we didn't think Dart was ready, I think we'd be okay. Jameis is a guy that can run the full Kafka Dable offense. We've seen what everyone's calling out, the play calling, this, that, and the other. But you watch the tape of Russell, he's not throwing to the middle of the field. There are guys open. If he was to sit in the pocket, take the pressure and throw, there are guys that are open in the middle of the field. He wasn't prepared to do that. He was looking for the big play or the check down. And I think that's where the defense called against us, just said, go on then, we'll give you the middle. We know you're not going to throw there. And that's why it looked so terrible. O-line, Andrew Thomas just showed absolutely why he's a Pro Bowl talent. I know people got fed up with the injury and this, that, and the other, but those 25 plays were some of the best left tackle play we've seen in 2 years. Right? And he's coming off with that off being rusty, and he's not at his full speed and this kind of thing. And there was a drop off to Bo. Don't get me wrong that Bo was there's a massive drop off to Hudson, right? So for me, Bo is the swing tackle now, and AT hopefully will start, and that's another reason why maybe it's the time to make a change at quarterback, because you've got AT back healthy and a first line. The really important thing for the O-line is to get the top 5 guys out there. Yeah. So interior is still an issue. So I wouldn't be opposed to seeing, well, does Bo get some snaps at guard? Do we see Evan Neal and see what we've got there? Because the one thing with Evan Neal is maybe he's not going to be with us next year, but we want someone to pick him up and play him a lot next year, so that comp hit gets a little bit higher when he goes there. And Mekhi Becton leaving, and going on a big money contract, that helps the Eagles out. Well, if Evan Neal is put in the shop window to go, look, this guy could be a competent guard, someone come and get him and make them your starting guard, that will give us a better pick. So I wouldn't be surprised to see something happen on the team. Maybe GVR in at center and Neal at right guard, or how do you get Bo and Illuminor on the right side? Thingy. But Bo's clearly got room to grow, but he's not ready to be facing the power on every down. But he showed so much more than I knew he had potential. He's ahead of where I thought he'd be at this point, and that's really exciting.
Yeah, brilliant. Craig, what do you think of some of the points we made there? Have you got anything to add to them, or anything I might have missed there?
No, so it's been tough because obviously I didn't really get a chance to watch the first two games live. I had to do catch up, and then obviously the third game as well, jet lag and working on the Monday with it being a late game I wasn't able to watch that one yet either. So I'm picking snippets of stuff up. So it's difficult. One thing I will just kind of might just play the Uno reverse card here, and kind of put this back to Aaron. But I just want to shout out Danny Thomas, he says first comment on the channel, so we appreciate that, Danny. But we need to put Thomas at left tackle, Bo at right tackle, and Illuminor at right guard there. Run 12 and 13 personnel, run the damn ball. What do you make of that? because you've literally just said we've got to find a way maybe to get Illuminor and Bo on the right side. You almost preempted the question.
Yeah, so it's possible. Like I say, I don't know what Bo would be like at guard, because I think that's where I thought he might end up more than he would end up as tackle. Illuminor's played amazing at right tackle. I'd be loath to move him out of there. In fact, what I probably would have done against Dallas would flip Illuminor to left tackle like he did last season and started Bo at the right. But I appreciate that's quite a. Sometimes you don't want to move two positions to fix one. But 12 and 13 personnel is not Daboll's way. He's a guy that wouldn't have a running back in his offenses previously. So we're not going to see 12 and 13. Bellinger was playing the H-back role really well, and I think having him do the H role isn't terrible, and that's obviously where you start to move towards 12 and 13. I don't think we're going to see the big stack boxes. We still have to have a passing threat, because we saw that when we only had Barkley and teams put 8 and 9 in the box and went, we're not going to let you run and we don't think you can throw on us. And so that doesn't work either. We have to be dual threat. We have to have a play action game to then allow the downfield passing there. So we can't go away from the run, but we have to still have a passing threat. And whether that's a play action with a read option offense and an RPO offense, maybe that's the way that we'll end up going. But certainly that's not the offense we're going to see from Russell Wilson.
No, and just to add to that as well, I think we'll see more 11 personnel now, because don't forget with the RPOs and stuff, with Jaxson Dart actually being able to run the ball himself to a certain extent, the need for the extra blocker in there is less. But also just to talk about what Danny said there, the comment is what I would do, right? It's perfect, but you cannot, in this day and age in NFL, ask Illuminor to go from right tackle to right guard now. He has proven to be a good right tackle, and he is shopping for he is working his arse off for his next contract next season as a tackle, not a guard. So to move him in there would sort of break the trust and stuff like that. And like, players don't like to see that happen to other players. So it's just like one of those professional things that you just wouldn't see happening, especially when the guy's playing so well. There's no reason to move him there. I understand you want to get Bo on the field, and maybe you might look at what Aaron said, doing a couple of reps at guard maybe. But for now, I think he will be a swing tackle, because for the main reason, and I don't want to say it, but he's a perfect backup for Andrew Thomas, who may not play every single snap or every single game this season.
Yeah, very true. I think personally the Giants' offense was summed up by the first and goal from the 4-yard line. What did Steve say? The throw down the tunnel? Yeah, that throw down the tunnel, Steve. Intentional grounding on first down from the 4-yard line. 10-yard penalty, loss of down. Second down, quarterback draw. Got nowhere. Third and fourth down, incomplete passes throughout the end zone. That's the Giants' offense.
I know we're obviously tight for time, etc. Moving to, and we've got defense to talk about, and we've also got the big news to talk about. However, it is inexcusable and a fucking travesty that you have a veteran quarterback throwing a ball at the back of the end zone on fourth down.
Yep. Disgusting.
Inexcusable. How you cannot just... It's fourth down. You're going to give the ball up.
Play call was. I want to know what the play call was.
If it's interception, it's interception. They start with the ball in the 5 or whatever. Like, yeah,
doesn't matter. Yeah. That might actually piss me off more than the quarterback sneak at our own goal line.
I was going to say it's not as bad as the quarterback sneak. That is a true give up from the coach. It's just one player just quitting. That was the coach quitting.
Yeah.
So that is not as bad as the quarterback sneak in your own red zone.
It's not as bad. It's not as bad, but it's up there.
It's up there. Yeah, it's up there.
That was a disgrace. This isn't far off of that.
Yeah.
Four plays from the 4-yard line, and we end up going backwards, and just.
And it's not the first time.
No, it's not the first time exactly. But yeah, that's the offense for me, summed up in that 1 4-play sequence. Yeah. Here we go. Defense then. All right. Let's look at defense. Normally it's me and Shane. But it's me and Craig this week.
Yeah.
It's over to you, mate. Good luck.
Yeah, for the first time in a long time, because I think, Kev, did we have defense 2 seasons ago? So
Yep.
it's the first time in 2 seasons that I get to talk about defense and not offense. And my good God, it's not great. We held the Chiefs for 22 points, but there were just too many similarities to what we had last year. I am jet lagged. This may be a incoherent ramble that goes on now, but it's going to happen. And once it starts, I can't stop it.
So be it.
Right. I don't want to break down the issues in the game because it's the same old shit. So I'm just going to get some stuff off my chest from what I've seen over the last 3 weeks. Our linebackers are too fucking soft in the middle, and teams take advantage of poor coverage and inconsistent tackling. Some of that is down to the revolving door that Joe Shane clearly hasn't addressed, and the fact that we've absolutely ravaged by injuries, because I'm pretty sure we've got Board, Flanagan Fowles, Musau, and McFadden, who were all out for this last game. Bobby Okereke leads the league in tackles with 34, but has allowed 6 receptions on 8 targets, and he let Patrick Mahomes steal the ball off of him on a fumble. Patrick Mahomes threw the ball back twice and recovered fumbles. Twice.
So just a little tangent here. Does anyone think Lawrence Taylor would let Patrick Mahomes take the ball off him?
No,
absolutely not.
He would have kneed him in the face before it even happened.
On that, shout out to the Giants for Taylor Cam.
Taylor Cam was the best thing about the whole game.
Yeah.
But anyway,
but that is inexcusable. That is,
yeah.
I'm so makes me angry thinking about it again.
Yeah, right. I'll get back into it now. Even though the Giants' offense is impotent at the moment, Bobby Okereke, fall on the ball. Don't be a hero. Don't see your name up in lights. Don't be the superstar. Fall on the ball. Get the ball back, and then we'll just go and turn it over on downs. It's fine. Don't worry about it. The pass rush that we have should be exploding against teams, and it's not. It's boom or bust. We're getting pressure, but it's not consistent, and we do not finish. Against the Chiefs, we couldn't take Mahomes down. On the season, we have 38 pressures and 6 sacks, which is an average of 5.9 sacks on opponent dropbacks. That ranks 20th in the league. We are better than 20th in the league when you have a front four that could consist of Burns, Thibodeau, Carter, and Lawrence. That is ridiculous to say we have we're the 20th best average percentage on opponent dropbacks turned into sacks. We spent money in the offseason on Holland and Adebo, and what has the return been so far? Paulson Adebo has been sticky on man coverage, but has not been great on the intermediate routes. He dropped 2 interceptions on this game. Yes, he's quick to react. Yes, he's generally around the ball. Yes, he has a lot of tackles on the season, but I still expect more. Holland has been above average, but I just don't hear his name. And we're waiting for a play that gets us out of our seats. And we have not got that from a player that we are spending a hell of a lot of money on, essentially, because of the fact that we decided not to re-sign Xavier McKinney. You could blame as many people as you want, but all of it really falls one man. And he is front and centre, and that's Shane Bowen. After 3 weeks, the Giants are allowing 405.3 yards per game. That is 31st in the league, and the only team lower than that is the Ravens, but the Ravens have good players who can overcome that. We do not have good players that
they
can overcome
have an offense.
Yeah, they have an offense. We've allowed 79 first downs, which is the most in the league by 9 through 3 games. And we've given up 280 penalty yards on defense, which is the second most. Like I said, this isn't a coherent point. It's a rant. It's me just getting some shit off my chest from 3 weeks. I'm sick and tired of all of this. And guess what I haven't mentioned? Haven't even spoken about the run defense, which is probably one of the
Go.
shittest parts of it. And I'm not going to talk about it. The only silver lining is that the defense was better against the Chiefs than it was against the Cowboys. But when you still lose a game that you had chances to change and you did not take up those chances, you do not get a fucking participation award.
No, you do not. Absolutely agree. I mean, myself and Shane are fed up talking about run defense. We're fed up of talking about soft coverage. We're fed up of talking about Shane Bowen's scheme not being good enough. Something needs to change. This defensive front could be so good. We've spent so much money on Javon Holland and Paulson Adebo. We've got young guys like Tyler Nubin and Drew Phillips and Cordell Flott and Tay Banks. There's so much potential. There's so much talent there. You know, we've got the second overall pick in Abdul Carter, probably the best player coming out of that, best player in the draft on paper. And granted, they want to sort of drip feed him in a little bit, but it's just not. No, we're not seeing what they're capable of doing. I think the only bright spark on the defense so far this season has been Brian Burns. I think he again, the game of the weekend, I think he had a really, really good game. Highest PFF grade on the team by far with 89.7. 90.5 pass rush grade as well, which is phenomenal. Came with 2 quarterback hits, 4 hurries, and a batted pass as well. You can't fault the guy. He's starting to show why he's got the C on his chest, and is showing signs of being the Brian Burns that we expected him to be when we traded him for him last year. And I think the only other player in the game that you potentially give a shout out to is Tibbs, because again he had as James said, he's looked good as well. I think he has. He's he's stepping up. He's obviously, we picked up his 5th-year option, so he's tied into the team for the next 2 years, well, this year and next year. So he's playing his heart out, and I think we're seeing that. But I think I say this for all Giants fans. As much as I love him, and we all love him, Dexter Lawrence, where the fucking hell are you? We need you back, my friend. We need you back. We need you being that wrecking ball in the middle of that line. And we can't even use the excuse he's being double teamed, because he's not being double teamed as much because there's so many different threats. Like you said, it's all down to one guy. It's all down to Shane Bowen, and we are not playing this group of players to their strengths. And it just frustrates the absolute fuck out of me when the Chiefs are there for the take, and the Chiefs' offense haven't been firing on any form of cylinder this season. You look at the first pass that Mahomes makes to Kelsey, and it just looks off. Patrick Mahomes himself just looked off, like he was a bit... Kelsey looks off. The Chiefs' offense looked mediocre, but yet we make them look like the Kansas City Chiefs of old. We make them look good, because the way we play on defense is so poor, and there's only one reason for it, and that is Shane Bowen. And I'm fed up with Shane Bowen's scheme. We're only a year and 3 games in. I'm fed up. I'm done with it. I want to see more aggression. I want to see a Steve Spagnuolo-esque defense. I want to see an Antonio Pierce off defense. I don't want to see this bullshit soft defense where you go, let's just hold. No, just fucking get stuck in. Bobby Okereke, fall on the damn ball as well. You know.
Are we playing? Do you think that Shane Bowen is scared to play more than a 4 front? Because it always just seems to be 4 rushers. Like, is there any danger that we could just maybe throw in something a little spicy for once?
I think one of the big things is, like, he won't play an exotic defense. It's almost like because the defensive backs the secondary who we were so high on haven't been covering well enough to allow the 4-man rush to get there. And because they haven't been allowing that, people are getting open and quarterbacks are able to make passes. But he's almost scared to throw exotic blitzing, the 5th guy or even 6, because there's no coverage and people are coming open so quickly that a quarterback can take a 3-step drop and just pop it to anyone near enough. And I think he's playing scared. Again, I think I might have said it in a podcast before. He's playing to not lose instead of trying to play to win. And because he's playing so soft, we're just quarterbacks are able just to make enough plays on third down, especially. Just it always seems to just the ball just keeps moving, and it's so frustrating. And I bet some of the pass rushers are frustrated as well. So, like Dan's got a nail on the head. Something has to change. Something has to. I mean, Adebo's not playing up to the levels that he was signed for. The safeties as well, but you don't know how much of that is want to an effort or technique, or how much of it is actual play calling. I would have more respect for him. I would have more respect for Bowen if he did just go out the next game and go, fuck it, we're 0-3. Just as far exotic. Let's just throw everything, the kitchen sink at it. We're getting beat anyway. Do you know what I mean? We like at the moment, you're keeping teams to 20 points, 20 odd points, but we're not winning games. So why not? Because you will be sacked if this carries on. You will be let go. So why not go out in a blaze of glory and show what you actually can do?
Exactly. And you're talking about the coverage as well. Just look at the Tyquan Thornton touchdown. Who's Tyquan Thornton, you ask? Well, if at first you don't succeed, try again the very next play, because a deep pass by Patrick Mahomes, what looks like it's a complete pass at first, is incomplete. And then so let's run exactly the same play again. Man coverage both times, and he makes the catch. And he's who the fucking hell is Tyquan Thornton? Why are we letting him catch the ball? Why is Drew Phillips both times letting him potentially catch that ball? He's run that play once. He run the play pretty much exactly the same route the next play, and you still don't learn from that. How? I don't get it. And I mean, Drew Phillips was my player of the game last week because I thought he had an outstanding game. This week, good God, man, you were awful.
Like really bad, and he is playing bad, and he's penalty waiting to happen as soon as he sets on the field. At the moment, I don't know if something's got in his head. Is he trying to play too aggressive? He's sort of believing his own hype, like everyone's saying what a good aggressive player he is. He's playing over aggressive, and he's getting beat a lot. Bobby Okereke, Craig, you said it perfectly. Yes, he's a good run stop. Yes, he's a good tackler. Pass coverage, an absolute nightmare. He's been found out there. The linebacker position next to him is a revolving door, and no one good is coming through that door. And the interior next to Dex isn't playing as good as he can, and the interior next to him is very, very weak and poor as well. So it just seems in the spine, the middle of our defense as well, we're just lacking good players. We have good players on defense, but we're in real bad situations. We're missing sort of like just good players, just average to good players. Like I said, the middle of the interior of the defensive line, the linebacker position, and then the safeties haven't shown themselves full of glory either, and the cornerbacks aren't stepping up. So, yeah, I mean, it must be hard to scheme with those deficiencies. But like I said, he needs to start calling plays differently because it is not working what he's doing.
No, bring the heat. Bring the heat. We've got the defenders to do it. We've got that pass rush to do it. We've got the, even a linebacker. Even I'd love to see a linebacker blitz at this point. I'd love to see Bobby O. No. But we can sit and rant and vent all night. It ain't going to change anything until Shane Bowen's not there. Realistically, is it? Because he's not going to change the way he plays his defense. Darius Alexander's been a massive letdown so far. It depends on your expectation of him, I suppose. Depends on your expectation of him. But yeah, he's not been great so far.
I think Darius Alexander, he was a guy that was a little bit of a projection, but also missed all the off-season, and it's hard to catch up as a rookie when you're trying to, some of it is just getting up to football, NFL football, professional football, speed, stamina, strength, and that's what I feel like he's lacking. Just wait till the back half of the season before we judge him, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously judging him against the other rookies on the team, and he is one of the, like I said, he's missed all the off season, and he's one of the guys that's taken a little bit more time to get into it. But you know, we're not necessarily relying on Darius Alexander when we've got the defensive line that we have, and they're not performing. So how can we really expect a rookie to perform that hasn't had much time? I'm pretty sure we're missing something, aren't we, Craig?
Says it at the bottom.
Dart starts. Where do we start here? Where do we start? Fucking hell. Craig, I'll let you.
Let me take it away. Yeah.
Yeah. Where do we start?
Straight back into it. Well, yeah, Russell Wilson era lasted a mere 3 games after 2 lackluster performances sandwiched to either side of a vintage one against the Cowboys, which we've already discussed was more a Cowboys issue than it was a, Russell Wilson rolling back the years. Outside of the Cowboys game, Wilson threw the ball 69 times, completing just 35 passes for 328 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. With Wilson under center, the Giants were 4 of 18 passing in the red zone, the worst in the NFL. He looked inaccurate, indecisive, and out of ideas. And now Brian Daboll has pulled the trigger. He said it is his decision. It's not he did not say that magic word that him and Joe Shane seem to have between them, collaborative decision. He said it was his decision, and the Giants are moving to Jaxson Dart for the rest of the season with Russell Wilson as his backup. Dart is there more than likely to save Brian Daboll's job, I would say. That is what Daboll is doing. He's pulling the trigger now to make sure that he is given plenty of time to show this is my quarterback. Look what I can do with this shiny new toy. Look what I can mold this man into. Because his job at the moment is hanging by a thread. In college, Dart threw for 4,279 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions as a senior at Ole Miss with a 69.3% completion rate. He was a 3-year starter, and a lot of his teammates spoke about his maturity and his leadership whilst on the field, and the fact that he's a bit of a renegade and is willing to put himself on the line for the good of the team. Dart will bring us mobility, energy, swagger, and that is needed because this offense needs a shot of something. My God. In the preseason, I think the Giants look more dynamic with Dart under center. Yes, it was against vanilla defenses. Yes, we're going to see him struggle over the next few weeks, I would imagine. This is not going to be a fairy tale Cinderella story where he comes in and is 100% accurate and throws for 8 touchdowns on his first sort of game, 2 games. Like, we are going to have to be patient. But under center in the preseason, he did finish with 372 yards, 3 touchdowns, 52 rushing yards, and a touchdown. This is a different animal to what we have seen with Russell Wilson. This is going to be a player who's hungry, a player who is determined to prove himself, a player who has already shown in the preseason that he's not afraid to lower that shoulder to get a few extra yards, even though it is, at the time, it was detrimental to the team because he fumbled the ball. Like, we're essentially getting the quarterback version of Cam Scatterbo over the last few weeks, where this man is going to fight for every yard he gets. And I'm kind of sipping the Kool-Aid a little bit, and I'm getting a little bit excited over this without actually seeing him. Kev, the new era is here earlier than we expected. Before we actually get into the why, is this the right decision, or should we have waited maybe a week and put him out against the Saints, who are arguably going to be an easier start for him?
No, I think it's the right time. I think they're all NFL defenses now. They're all NFL players. He's either ready or he's not. You either believe him to be ready or you don't. So if you believe now, make the move at 0-3, then I 100% believe that this is the right time to do it. I mean, it does feel like you said that, is this Dable's last card? Is it a sense of desperation trying to keep his job? You know, how fair is it to say like you're placing the future of the franchise on a 22-year-old who's never thrown a ball in the NFL? But Dart's his guy. Dable batted the table for him during the draft process. He's nurtured him. He's brought him along. We've seen the way he is around him, the way he speaks about him, the way he speaks to him. You know, he's definitely his guy. So Dable kind of feels that 0-3, it is a bit of desperation, but he believes in this guy. The Russell Wilson situation was kind of like you had to bring someone in. You know, he was a stopgap. You know, he was clearly not the answer. His lack of mobility was exposed. You know, said before, deep ball or check down, very limited. What Dable showed in the preseason is his playbook opens up to Jaxson Dart. It opens up and he can really go through all the sort of plays he wants to run. And you could tell the offense was limited in play call and stuff like that from having Russell Wilson in there. I mean, there is a bit of a worry that, you know, Dable's failed in the past with Daniel Jones. I know we don't talk about Daniel Jones, but look how well he's playing at the moment. Daniel Jones has the tools. You know, we all said he had the tools, but maybe, you know, his time at the New York Giants was just over and he needed to change just like the Giants do. But I definitely think it's the right deal, man. I could go into some of the reasons why I think he will be good, but I don't know if you want to talk about other things first. Yeah.
We'll save that for a minute. Aaron, is this the right time to pull the trigger? Would you have done it now?
So, given where we are, I don't disagree with the decision. I think when I looked at the schedule, this was the earliest I could foresee him starting, and the reason I do it this week instead of next week is you don't want to do it on the road in the Superdome. That's a loud stadium to go and get your first start. It's better to do it at home, and given obviously the slew of away games and everything else, I think this was the earliest point. I think some of the beat reporters were writing about Dart in pre-season, obviously the love affair. I think if they'd never made the statement that Russell Wilson was going to be the starter and wanting to commit by their words, there's a chance he could have won it in camp. He already completely surpassed Jameis in camp. And, you know, we were going into that first game wondering who was going to be the number 2, number 3 QB. It was clear. It's been clear. It's Dart. He may have been QB1 coming out of camp. And actually we were waiting for Andrew Thomas to be fit. Obviously 25 snaps last week. Looks like he's come through. He's now in for the full game. As Keith says there, I think that's possibly why this is now the right time. And then go into the bigger picture. The Dable era is over if Dart doesn't work. If Dart doesn't work, we're going to be picking 1, 2, or 3 in the draft. We can jettison Dart like we jettison Dable and potentially Shane as well, and start over completely. Well, you know, the Cardinals did it when they drafted Rosen. The year later, they come back and take Murray number 1 overall. It's not unheard of to go right. So giving him 10, 15 games to actually show us does he have it or not, lets us go into the draft, whether that's as a 4-win team, a 2-win team, a 7-win team. We have that a chance now to show it. So I think that's the thing. We've got enough weapons around him, enough, you know, Jermaine's playing really well, AT's back. Like there's enough structure there to give him a fair shot. And I think that on balance, where we are in the season, if I said at the start, I think I was more game 7, game 8 for Dart. But given it 0-3, the season's done. This is now the best option.
Just quickly to add to that before Dan jumps in, sorry. Mayo, that's a perfect point. Is like at 0-3, we're not making the playoffs, lads, right? So every rep he has from now to the end of the season will only benefit him going forward into the future. Like, so you give him as much reps now because you brought someone like Russell Wilson in because you thought he might have a little bit of juice left in him to be able to, make a bit of a push and put some wins on the board. He's shown that he's not capable of that. So now I think is the perfect time because you have to go with Dart to breathe a bit of life into this offense, like you say, Craig. But also you're building for the future now. You need to look at the future, and the fan bases need to realize that. So every sort of NFL rep he gets now between now and the end of the season, I think will be huge for his development. And he's shown enough so far to sort of warrant it.
Yeah. Would you reckon, Dan? A lot of people are saying in the comments, panic move. Is that what this is? Is this the right time, or is this just a save my ass?
It to me absolutely reeks of desperation for Dabes. I think he knows his job's on the line. The seat underneath him is currently on fire. I mean, he's not just getting toasty buns. His arse is on fire, and it is like you said, his job is hanging by a thread. I think if we don't win, if we go 0-7, 0-8, I think Dabes is gone. And in all honesty, I'm done with Brian Daboll now. I don't think he's the right coach for this team. He's far too conservative. Apart from his Coach of the Year season in the first year in 2022, he's far too conservative. Gives the same bullshit answers in press conferences week after week, month after month. Is this the right time? Only time will tell, really, because it's going to go one of two ways. It's either going to work or it's not. And in my opinion, I think it's a little bit too soon. But he had no choice.
Dan, can I ask you, Dan, something quickly?
Go on.
So do you think, right, if Jaxson Dart is a success, as in, like, I'm not saying go out there and be the Washington Commanders quarterback or like anything like that, but like, Jen Daniels, but if he goes out and you can see, okay, we have something here, does that mean, would you still get rid of Daboll, or do you think that would save his job, or do you think no matter how Dart plays now, Daboll's proven that he's just a good coordinator, but he's not a good head coach?
I'm done with Dabes. I'm done with him. I've seen enough of him. I've seen enough of this dog shit team over the last 2.5 years. That he, smart, tough, dependable. What proves that you're smart, tough, and dependable when we see the same bullshit football week in, week out? Your coordinators put the same bullshit football on that field week in, week out. What says that you're smart, tough, or dependable? Absolutely nothing at this point. So go by your own mantra. Going back to the Dart point, I think maybe a little bit too. maybe it's a little bit too soon. But at the same time, how do we know this wasn't Dabes' plan all along? Let's bring in a quarterback and start him for a little. Let's bring Dart in. How do we know this wasn't his plan all along?
I tell you what. I'm going to Shane tangent this now. Shane's going to be so proud of me today. I want to go down conspiracy alley right now.
Go on, let's do it.
What happens if the play calling gets a bit more imaginative, and it is literally the fact that Russell Wilson? Go on.
I was going to say exactly the same thing, man.
Yeah.
You read my fucking mind.
Yeah, well, friends for 30-odd years, that happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm just looking for the tinfoil.
Yeah. This is like full-on tinfoil hat time. This is the alien from Signs walking past with a play sheet. Yeah. What is it? What if Daboll turned around to Kafka and went, just call some, just give us the bland plays. Let's go with the bland plan playbook. Let's go with sausages and mash with no gravy for this week, and we'll do that. And then once we get Dart going, we get the old cordon bleu out, and we get the old the old steak frites and all of that out. Then who knows?
This is it, and we've seen Dart come in on a few plays over the last couple of weeks, and obviously the vast majority of them have been RPOs. Love you too, Holty. And that's what we're good. That's what we're gonna see from Jaxson Dart. So it's there is going to be a distinctive difference in the plays that are called. I think it's going to be a bit more conservative at first, just to let him sort of settle in and bed down and whatever. But I genuinely think we're going to see far more out of Dart than we ever would have done out of Russell Wilson. I think the playbook that was built for Russell Wilson was very vanilla, and he just happened to come up against a Dallas defense that was god awful last week and managed to throw the ball for 450 yards because anybody can do that against Dallas. Like I said, only time will tell if it's the right time. But he had to do something. He had to do something to save his job, and not just save his job, but probably save Kafka's job as well. Because God knows that I'm fed up with both of them at this point, and Shane Bowen. I think the only one I'm not fed up with 100% yet is Joe Shane, but I'm getting there.
We've had quite a few rants on this. It's a good job Shane's not here, because I think that this would be the most nuclear podcast we've had in a while. But yeah, time will tell. Time will tell. Personally, I do think
I'm looking forward to the game on Sunday.
That's the thing. Everyone, there was a chance that this weekend that everyone just went, you know what? I ain't watching this bullshit. It is turgid. I'll just stay at home. I'll take the kids out. I'll do something. And that's what happened last season. And it could have happened. So by doing this and switching it round, it is going to put bums in seats.
Exactly. And, you said we're not a playoff team. The season's done. Who's to say that we don't go 14-0 for the next 14 games with Jaxson Dart at quarterback?
8-1, isn't it? Oh, sorry, 8-9-1. 8-1, Aaron. 8-1. Yeah, he's still holding on. Still holding on.
Hey, we nearly had the draw. We nearly had the draw already.
Yeah, true. Very true. But yeah, who's to say we don't turn it around and win some fucking football games with Jaxson Dart under centre?
And Cam
I hope we do. This is the really sort of exciting thing, is that we have some real young talent on this offense now. And we're not just the same offense with a new quarterback. We're the same offense with a new exciting young quarterback that clearly Dave's loves, and clearly, we've seen a lot of good things from him in the preseason. So yeah, Sunday's going to be an interesting game, that's for sure. Looking forward to it. What about you boys?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the big thing is the fans are chanting for him. The fans want to see him in. He had a strong preseason. What was he? We'll go for 32, 47, 372 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He showed arm talent. He showed athleticism. He showed poise. He got the fans excited. He came in and ticked all the boxes. He picked up the playbook really quick. Apparently, he kind of just come in and Dable's put him under his wing, and maybe Dable has got a playbook for him.
Have you seen the clip online of Dart on the sideline where it looks like he's calling the plays as Dable's obviously relaying it to Wilson? He's on the sideline. He's checking the wrist, and then he's repeating it back, and it's been in the works.
Exactly that.
I think so. One of the beat writers said it was always a case of, maybe it was Dan Duggan. It was always a case of when, not an if. Jaxson Dart was going to start this season. It was when, if you see him as well, the teammates love him and he loves his teammates. You can see that they're definitely going to rally around him. This isn't like a decision that's going to split the locker room at all. They're all going to be good. He's shown his football IQ. Everyone's talking about the Ole Miss playbook and how the certain reads and blah blah blah. He was never asked to run an NFL style offense. He's shown that he can come in and pick it up quick and understand what's going on. So he's got great football IQ. He's shown that he can throw the ball with anticipation, leading people open. He can read defenses. He can move in the pocket. He can play a little bit of hero ball, so you will not lose that deep ball. That deep ball will be there because Jaxson Dart, although he may not throw it as well as Russell Wilson, he will definitely have no problem chucking that ball down there to Malik Neighbors. So like, it is time to get excited, because I don't think he would play if he wasn't ready. And one of the big things was, I think Aaron said earlier, that he got moved up to QB2. That shows that the Brian Dable and the coaching staff have confidence for him to play in the NFL. And also Aaron said about, he could have won that job outright in the offseason. If this was Jameis Winston and Jaxson Dart, then I think Jaxson Dart would have been starting week 1, 100%. So, and he just, the thing I like about him, go on.
It kind of makes you want to ask the question, what was the point in Russell Wilson in the first place?
Well, it was before we drafted Dart. So they had to get a starting caliber player in as an insurance policy, which I get.
Is Jameis Winston not a starting caliber quarterback?
I think they were under discussions with both, and they didn't want to lose either of them, so they ended up signing both of them.
So we ended up throwing some money at Russell Wilson and wasting it.
Yeah, I mean, Russell Wilson's made some, not wasting it.
Joe Shane, ladies and gents, Joe Shane.
It's not a lot, is it? I think it was like 4. Well, how much was Wilson's?
10.1.
It was incentive laden, and I don't think he's got any of the incentives. Like,
no.
I think even like a 50% completion rate was like one of them or something, and he's nowhere near like
39 quarterback rating, lowest Giants quarterback ever.
I mean,
unlike a former Giant quarterback that's made $300,000 in incentives so far this season, 3 games.
But also, like,
exactly that.
Like I'm like I said, I'm 100% for this, and I think Jaxson Dart is the QB of the future. Now, why it could be risky is that, was this supposed to be a year for him to sit and develop? Like, is he being rushed in? I don't think he is, but still stuff that you have to think about. There could be like a bit of regression. He could come in, pick up the offense really well, and you'll see plays that were never seen for the first 3 weeks. Suddenly, they're incorporated into the playbook. But then will defenses like figure that out and have tape on him? He might do a spark for the first couple of games, but will NFL defenses get tape on him and coordinators? And then, you might see a little bit of regression later on. It might not be all rosy and you might not see stuff the way we think you can see him. And like the Giants is also past QB mistakes as well. I mean, like, again, not to bring up Daniel Jones, but it does raise the stakes a bit, as in, like, we haven't had a good QB under this regime, or a QB play well under this regime. Why is this going to be different? So these are all things that, we have to take into consideration as well.
I think that's, if we're looking for, as Giants fans, how to be positive, right? I think the only way we lose here is if Jaxson Dart's okay, and we get into that Daniel Jones loop of going, well, do we move on? Do we burn it all down? Like, I think if he comes out and he plays well, we go, right, okay, then we can potentially let Dable and Shane finish out their contracts. We can go into the next year, and we can potentially trade our high draft pick for more picks, or we can go and take, like we did this year, take the best defensive player available, nice offensive guard, stick in there. I'm sure Shane's already got the
Shane would absolutely hate you.
Already on his tape watching list, and then we don't want to wait too long when the injuries pile up, and then we put Jaxson Dart in, and he's got no Neighbors, no Andrew Thomas, no, and we go, oh well, of course he wasn't going to look good because the best in there. Neighbors is still here. Andrew Thomas is back. Jermaine Illuminor's playing really well. Cam Scatteroo looks like he could be our RB1 anyway. Like, we've got our starting offense all available to us, right? So he's got the opportunity to succeed. If he fails, we burn it all down. Brand new QB, brand new coach, brand new GM potentially, and we start all over again.
100% as well that Brian Dable will cater this offense and call plays that will suit Jaxson Dart's strengths 100%. Like, kind of like last chance saloon, he's going to have to, you're going to see RPOs, you're going to see vertical throws, you're going to see throws over the middle of the field. Like he will put Jaxson Dart in the best position to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, whoever's calling the plays, whether it's Dave's or Kafka, which one, who knows? But I think Yeah, I
Deals
think
might fancy taking it back on now.
Yeah, exactly that. I think for me, from last thing, I think we can this the only way is up. The only way is we've got to improve, and I think with Dart under centre, I think it gives us that little bit of excitement that we all want and we all need. We've had poor quarterback play for far too long, and it's nice to have a young, exciting QB there. And let's face it, we took him in round 1 of the draft. Ideal situation would have been, let him sit for a year behind Russ and learn. And we don't find ourselves in an ideal situation, unfortunately. So it's kind of now or never. And Daves has made that decision to go with now, and we hope he doesn't live to regret that. We hope it's at least a positive season from here on out. Whether that's getting 3 wins, it is what it is. But if we see some positive plays and some excitement from Jaxson Dart on this offense, then at least it's better than what we've seen over the last 3 weeks. I'm just looking forward to the game on Sunday. I think it'll be a really good one, and it's up against a good team in the Chargers as well. So it's a bit of a baptism of fire for him. But I think he's got what it takes to do it in this league, and I think we'll see that on Sunday.
And not to put too much on him or this team, but Dan, you kind of made a good point there. As in, like, made me think, like, this is a pivotal moment, not just for this season, but for the direction of this franchise as a whole. Like, how Dable handles this situation now with Dart, as in how the scheme they want to play, offensive scheme this week, and the play calls from Kafka, like, I'm not saying, we're going to ruin the guy or anything like that, but like this is a pivotal moment. It's really, really big. And, it's box office.
Exactly that. It is. And roll on Sunday so we can see the first game of Jaxson Dart's very, very young career. Obviously, we'll be back to review that game against the Chargers on Friday, but that is all we have time for this evening. No doubt we'll talk more about Jaxson Dart on Friday. No doubt he'll be a hot topic of discussion throughout the season, but Dart starts. Roll on Sunday. Chargers game coming up. We'll be back to review that on Friday, preview that on Friday evening. So make sure you tune in for that one. Anything to add before we go, guys?
No, just good to get on tonight with you boys. Obviously, I'm glad the 2 boys are home safe and signed. A little bit jet lag, but that's okay. And now, fair play to you for coming back at the right time, because the season starts now, boys, with Jaxson Dart starts.
Yeah, we can talk about the past 3 games all we want, but let's don't look back in anger. It's a new era from now, right? And it could still be just as shit as the last one, but then we'll have another new era in 15 games time as well. So it's time to be. If Bobby from Giants Nation needs a positive message, is this era might only be 15 games long. That's the positive message for his positive plane that he's going to put over the stadium at some point. So let's think positively. This could be a new era that lasts the next 10 years. It could last 15 games, but whatever you want as a Giants fan, whether it's regime change or just winning football, one of those 2 things is coming.
It feels wrong to shill this now. However, though we are 0-3 and we could be God knows what by the time it comes round, remember the best way to try and deal with this season is to watch it with us and watch it with others. And we still have our meetup. October 26th. It's coming up pretty quickly now that the season's sort of on its way. So, don't forget we're going to be in Belushi's on October 26th at 5 p.m. kickoff, so we'll be there from 4 p.m. I just wanted to bring that up because of the fact that, like, we could rant about this, and we have people in the comments saying, "Oh, I really enjoyed listening to this," and as Steve says, top therapy session, lads, and stuff like that. We can do it in person. We can have a therapy session in person and drink our sorrows away afterwards
An
as well.
alcohol-fueled therapy session. Yes.
Exactly. So I just wanted to get that in there. But no, it's good to be back. I'm looking forward to sort of watching this weekend's game. I'm looking forward to doing the preview on Friday, my first preview of the season. So yeah, looking forward to it. It's going to be good.
Absolutely. At least there's a little bit of positivity to look forward to on the preview. Yeah, it kind of came out of the blue yesterday that Jaxson Dart will be starting this weekend, but I think it's at least something to be excited about and it's something to look forward to. At least we don't have to look forward to the same old football that we've seen for the last 2.5 years, or at least we hope anyway. So touch wood, it's a sign, a good sign, and it's an exciting thing of that we're gonna see this weekend. Don't forget to check out our social networks for all the latest news. Follow the links in the description to find where we're at. Give this episode a big thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell as well to be notified on when we are going live. Appreciate all the people watching and getting involved in the comments. There's been plenty of them this evening, so we appreciate the love as always. My thanks go to Kev, to Craig, and to Aaron for joining me. We're signing off until Friday. Let's go Jaxson Dart.